The following program has been edited down from its original length and comes from the DVD Debunking Evolution. Visit us today to obtain the whole program.
Is it just me, or does the evolutionary story keep changing? Hi, John.
Hey.
Oh, hey, where'd this truck come from?
Up in the attic. I was cleaning it out earlier and I found it, and it's got a whole bunch of junk in here, but some of it is actually helping me with our science homework.
Hey, check this out. Oh, man. Oh, was this your grandpa's old yearbook?
Yeah, it must have been.
Look how out of date everyone looks. Was this really in style back then?
Do you think our kids are going to look at our yearbooks and say the same things?
Nah. So, how'd you say this trunk helped you?
Well, I'm starting to get the picture on human evolution. This book was published in 1925 by Sir Arthur Keith. And now he was the president of the Royal Anthropological Society of Great Britain.
And the skull?
It was found in 1912. Now, it called Piltdown Man the find of the 20th century. I think it was the New York Times said that it proves the theory of evolution. There were like 500 articles published when they first found this. Then in 1953, they discovered that the skull was a fake.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. They took chemicals and they aged the skull. They made it look like it was really, really old. And then the jaw is actually from an orangutan. And the guy who discovered it, he actually filed the teeth down and made it look real.
What the heck were scientists thinking?
Have you ever heard of Nebraska Man? Nebraska Man was the first American ape man fossil to be discovered. And Harold Cook found just a tooth.
Bet that made for us some news or museum display.
Yeah, well, it was big enough for the New York Times, okay? And then it went viral for back then, and the London News did a whole drawing on it from a single tooth. There's still a picture of him on Wikipedia.
They drew all that based on a tooth?
Yeah, but 10 years later, they discovered out that that tooth was actually from an extinct pig.
No way.
Yeah, so Piltdown Man was the popular proof for evolution for 40 years, and Nebraska Man was the popular proof for 10.
Makes you wonder about what they're teaching us today.
I'm way ahead of you. Take a look at my little brother's 6th grade history book.
Really? Your brother's book? You have way too much time on your hands. Well, some of these ape men look familiar.
Long lost relatives of yours? No, I'm just kidding, but no, it's because they're in our book as well.
Oh, well, in our book, they say Australopithecus afarensis evolved 3.8 to 3 million years ago. But in the 6th grade book, Australopithecus evolving 4 to 5 million years ago.
Uh-huh. Now, look at this. This is an old 1951 Life magazine publication.
According to this, Australopithecus lived 1 million to 500,000 years ago. Wow, that's different by a few million years.
Mm-hmm.
These dates are all over the place.
Yeah, well, it gets worse. So this is our biology, the Holt biology book.
Okay.
And it shows Homo habilis as living 1.6 to 1.9 million years ago. But in the 6th grade one, it's 2.4 million years ago.
So which one's true?
I guess it depends on which class you're in.
So what I'm wondering is if any of these dates are correct.
It looks like today's truth is just tomorrow's fiction. If you look back at all the textbooks, they're all published at about the same time. Take a look at my little brother's 6th grade book. Now this book shows all of the popular fossils today.
Okay, so here we are, Homo sapiens, right?
But check out what came before us.
Homo erectus.
Right, and while he had a human body, evolutionists like to point out that he had a different skull, at least a modern human skull. Now, the journal Science, back in October of 2013, they reported they found skulls in Georgia, like Russia. It shows how different the Homo erectus skulls can look.
Wow, they are so different.
Homo erectus and human skulls can be very similar. In fact, they did a study on 202 modern-day Aborigines, like Australians, on the shape of their skulls, and they found that 14 of the 17 traits were the same on the Aborigines as on the Homo erectus skulls.
So it looks like Homo erectus wasn't becoming human, but was already human?
Exactly. The next ape-man back is Homo habilis. Homo means human. So they're trying to make him look more human-like than he really is. So Richard Leakey is a famous evolutionist, and he said, of the several dozen specimens that have been said at one time or another to belong to Homo habilis, at least half of them don't. But there is no consensus as to which 50% should be excluded. No one anthropologist's 50% is quite the same as another's. So they can't even really classify which fossils are supposed to go into which category. In fact, some scientists are fighting to have Homo habilis reclassified as Australopithecus.
Which one?
Australopithecus is Lucy.
Oh yeah, I've heard of her.
Yeah. Now, Donald Johanson, 1973, discovered just the shin and the leg bone. Now, the way they line up makes scientists think that she could walk upright. And there's a picture of her.
Wow, there's a lot of her missing.
Hey, at least it's more than a tooth.
It's true.
You want to see the fragments of the skull that they found?
Sure.
All right, wait for it. Booyah.
Wow,
That's what they found.
not that much. Man, there's a lot of skulls in here. Was your grandpa a witch doctor?
No, it was a yard sailor. Now, looky what we have here. We have here a modern bonobo monkey skull, and we have Lucy. So the brown pieces are the actual fragments of Lucy's skull that they found.
Well, they look so alike.
Her brain is only a third the size of a modern human's, about the average chimp brain size, and she only stood about 3.5 feet tall. Take a look at the way that Lucy has been portrayed in like the media, like books and films, online,
Wow,
everywhere.
they really went out of their way to make her look human-like.
Take a look in our other biology book.
Oh, wow. Hey, look at the whites of those eyes. You know, I've been to a lot of different zoos and I've seen a lot of different apes, and each of them have completely brown eyes, and not the eye whites that us humans have. Man, it even looks like she's thinking about something.
Yeah, bananas. I don't think they found any eyeball fossils, but if you wanted to make an ape-man look more human, changing the colors of the eye whites in pictures is a good way to do it.
That's true.
Here's a picture of what she probably looked like.
Man, what a difference.
Yeah, well, but they do say they have found several complete skeletons of the Australopithecus, though not specifically Lucy. They found around 362 actual specimens from the species Australopithecus, specifically Lucy. However, Charles Oxnard said, the Australopithecines known over the last several decades are now irrevocably removed from a place in the evolution of human bipedalism. All this should make us wonder about the usual presentation of human evolution in introductory textbooks. Well, now you understand why I've been digging through this chest. I mean, really, the way it looks is that Lucy's just an extinct ape.
I'm kind of feeling angry. Like I've been duped.
Same thing with Neanderthals. Check out these illustrations that came out after they started finding Neanderthal fossils. Check this one out. This was published in the Illustrated London News about 100 years ago.
Whoa. Okay, that's pretty brutish.
Now, do you want to know what they think he looks like now?
Sure. Wow.
Just recently, scientists have discovered that Neanderthals buried their dead. They worked with tools, they wore makeup, they controlled fire, and they even found in a cave in Israel that Neanderthals and humans were living together and building families together. And at other places as well.
Okay, you know what? That settles it. That settles it. If they can live together and if they have children together, then Neanderthals are just humans, but the difference is that their appearance varies. Just like different people groups today can vary. So either these fossils are completely human or completely ape with nothing in between.
Now, a specimen is basically any piece of bone, including teeth, that they find. All the specimens from all the different ape men that they've actually found, you can fit them in the back of a small pickup truck.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. Now, if our textbooks won't address the new evidence, what does the Bible say? Man was created on the 6th day in God's image, out of dirt, and God breathed life into him.
And 1 Corinthians 15:39 says, all flesh is not the same kind of flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of man, another flesh of animals, another of fish, and another of birds.
That sums it up pretty nicely.
Yep.
So, what'd you think of Grandpa's chest?
I thought it was amazing.
Me too. And we learned that just like a style can go out of fashion, the popular ape men theories and their fossils do the same thing. And while their theory keeps changing, God's word never does.
Kind of makes you think, doesn't it?
This program is brought to you by Awesome Science Media, an organization committed to producing high-quality science-focused television content, all from a biblical worldview. Be sure to sign up for our email newsletter to find out about our new titles and get deals on our content. To learn more about who we are, visit our website and online store at awesomesciencemedia.com. You can now get access to all of our programming on our video-on-demand platform at awesomescitv.com with a low monthly subscription rate of $4.99. And for a limited time, the first 7 days are free, so you can check us out before you commit. Subscribe today and get access to every episode and documentary we have produced. Not only will you get access to all of our programs, but every behind-the-scenes video, blooper reels, interview clips, scientist testimony, producer video blog, on-site production previews, and spherical production videos. Awesome Sci TV will also be the place where we release our newest content, so you'll be the first in the world to see our newest episodes and documentaries. We're always producing content, so new titles will be added as soon as we release them. No matter where you live on the globe, if you have internet, you can subscribe to Awesome Sci TV. So what are you waiting for? Check us out today. Sign up for a 7-day trial. You'll have the choice to sign up for our monthly package or save money by signing up for our yearly subscription. But if you don't want to subscribe, Awesome Sci TV also offers each title for rent or for purchase. View our content from our website or download it to your computer or mobile device when you purchase it. It's easy to access any of our titles. Get all of our great programming and build up your faith in God's Word. Remember, for a limited time, you can sign up for a 7-day free trial. Go to awesomescitv.com to sign up now.
Is it just me, or has the evolution from one kind of animal into another ever been seen? So Darwin's finches left South America, traveled to the Galapagos Islands, and over time, each island developed its own species. But is that really evolution?
Jane, look at it. Got a new app for my phone. Flashlight. I love this phone. It's got like everything you need on it. It's got GPS, it's got constellations. What did people do before smartphones?
Their homework.
Dude, watch this.
Nice. Now can we turn the lights back on so we can study?
Yeah, sure.
You and your cell.
I know, right? This phone and me, we're gonna take over the world.
Can it make me a puppy?
Yeah. Oops, wrong icon. I'll have them on in just a second. Jane? Jane! How does that even... Man, I guess those extra gigabytes really paid off.
Henrietta! Henrietta!
Jane?
There you are. Oh, man. Since the lights went out again, I went to make sure Henrietta had some water. Oh, come here, babies. Aw, well, don't we look cute together?
Yeah, the resemblance is frightening.
Oh, you didn't think I was...
You said, make me a puppy.
Your smartphone is pretty amazing, but it can only do things it's programmed to do. Hey, that's it! That's the difference!
What's the difference?
I've been reading through a textbook, and they keep giving great examples of how creatures change, like Darwin's finches, or these tortoises. But this isn't evolution by natural forces if these animals were programmed to adapt like that.
I see what you're saying. Many evolutionists consider any change as evolution, which makes it seem like we're always evolving upward. But not all changes come from accidental errors through mutation. Some pre-programmed variation helps animals adapt through genetic recombining. Now, look at this. Our book lists the sources of genetic variation. This page lists the two main sources of change as mutation and genetic recombination.
So mutations would be accidents, errors?
Right. Mutations are usually caused when there's an error copying a creature's genetic information, which is found in its DNA. It can lose, duplicate, or even copy letters in the genetic code.
But if I delete, scramble, or duplicate letters, won't I eventually get a new word?
Sure, but a new word doesn't necessarily mean anything.
So if I scramble the letters in puppy, it just means gibberish?
Exactly. Mutations might be able to create a new combination of letters, but it needs to have a meaning for the cell to use as a blueprint later on. In other words, a code isn't really a code without some assigned meaning. Gibberish can't create anything.
So mutations are always bad?
Yeah, look at what it says. Some mutations, such as those that cause genetic diseases, may be lethal. Other mutations may lower fitness by decreasing an individual's ability to survive and reproduce. Still, other mutations may improve an individual's ability to survive and reproduce.
It looks like they agree that mutations are bad, but then why do they say some may improve an individual?
They give you an example right here. Over the past 20 years, mutations in the mosquito genome have made many African mosquitoes resistant to the chemical pesticides once used to control them.
Okay, so it looks like the mosquitoes are better off because of mutation.
Yes, but what they don't tell you is that resistance actually came from a loss of information in the mosquito's genetic code. The mosquito's ability to control its enzyme production is now messed up, and one of the strange side effects of too many enzymes is increased pesticide resistance. However, normal mosquitoes without the disease are much healthier in the wild where there is no pesticide.
So it was a loss of information, but it was a benefit for those mosquitoes, right?
Well, they only benefit by being more resistant to the pesticide. The point is, by losing information, they lost control of an enzyme's production. Now, evolution needs to explain gains of information over time. And the same goes for other examples they give, like bacteria becoming more resistant, bone density, humans becoming more resistant to HIV.
But if a population of creatures continues to lose information, could it be deadly for them?
Bingo! But here's the real problem. People count on that loss of information from mutations to create the genetic blueprint for every living creature on Earth out of nothing. That's crazy.
No way, that's so impossible. It destroys evolution.
Right?
Okay, so what about the other changes? Program change, or you called it genetic recombination.
Look at what it says here. Most heritable differences are due not to mutations, but to genetic recombination. So God not only created all the animals, he also packed them with enough genetic information that would allow them to adapt to different environments and varieties we see today.
So adaptation is real?
Yeah, I saw an explanation of it in the Focus on Earth Science. Individuals with characteristics that are poorly suited to the environment are less likely to survive and reproduce.
Over time, poorly suited characteristics may disappear from the species.
So a population of animals can adapt by expressing variety over time, but there are limits to how much they can change.
In what way?
Think about rolling dice. If you had 2 dice, you could roll anything between 2 and 12. The variety is programmed into the dice, but you can't roll anything higher or lower.
I get what you're saying. Likewise, animals can express a lot of variety, but there's a limit because of the finite genetic information they have.
Exactly. And while we've seen some pretty amazing varieties within the kinds God created, like in dogs, one basic kind of animal can never change into another.
And that fits with all the examples we see in these textbooks.
Although they like to point out the differences in finch beaks and tortoises.
It's just adaptation within the genetic limits of that kind.
Right, but then they pass it off as evolution. And you know, I used to think that all these arguments really showed evolution, but then I got to thinking, studying changes in a beak shape, like Darwin's finches, won't show you where that beak came from. And despite the minor changes, a finch is still just a finch.
But the truth is what we read in Genesis 1:25. And God made the beast of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So adaptations are kind of like the apps on your phone.
Yeah, I can't change a person into a puppy, but I can run the programming that's already on my phone.
Boy. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Is it just me, or is natural selection kind of blind when it comes to evolution? John! Where is he? Let's see here. Ooh. Messing with my privacy. Huh?
Ow!
John? Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, no, I just got back from the eye doctors. They dilated my pupils. Getting here was a little dicey, but I'm starting to see a lot better now.
Then why are you talking to a coat rack?
I thought you were looking a little taller.
I was gonna get your help deciding on what swatches to pick out, but I think this is a really bad time.
No, I can do it. Give me a try.
Okay, well, I started out by liking this one. Yeah, this one. But then I figure I'd tune it back a bit. Yeah, what do you think?
I like this one. Yeah.
No. I think we're gonna work on this a little later.
Whatever.
We better get to studying.
What are we studying today?
Natural selection. I've already started reading it. There's a great definition in our biology textbook. So, natural selection is the process by which organisms with variation most suited to their local environment survive and leave more offspring.
So, evolutionary theory holds that natural selection is one of the forces that drives evolution?
How's that work?
Well, evolutionists say a mutation happens in the sex cells of a creature and its offspring exhibits the resulting trait difference, like a new feather color or something. The trait can give it an advantage or a disadvantage. A beneficial mutation would cause it to become a little better at surviving in an environment than the non-mutants. So, its descendants, and thus the trait, eventually outnumber the others. Then the scenario repeats with another variation, supposedly driving evolution forward. But rather than this process producing just the varieties we see among animal kinds, they believe this process built those animals from completely different ones, and can eventually lead to one kind of animal turning into another. But this has never been observed. Fish are still fish, and finches are still finches.
And here in the biology textbook, they point out that the polar bear had the advantage as a predator in the snow because of its white coat. And it also shows that if you start with yellow and green grasshoppers, two different traits inherited from the parents, the green may outnumber the yellow in a green environment because they are harder for birds to see and catch.
So, did the grasshoppers think through how other animals would avoid it if it looked more camouflage? Did it know how to genetically engineer itself to express those colors? Did a polar bear engineer its own white coat?
No, but that's not what evolutionists believe. They think that these changes happen randomly in the DNA, influencing an individual's survivability. Evolution is a blind process, no offense. Intelligent choices supposedly have nothing to do with it.
Evolutionists believe natural selection figured out how to design an eye. But how? It would have to build and preserve over who knows how many generations, hundreds of complicated interacting eye parts, including proteins that were all useless until the whole package was eventually assembled. How'd it know to engineer animals for flight?
I'm Kyle Justice of Awesome Science Media. I'm glad you're watching our programs. I hope you've been ministered to. Some of you might feel called to give towards our ministry, to help us produce even more great programming. I'm going to show you how. We've tried to be creative in the way we partner with our viewers, so we've set up a special producer's website just for you. Similar to crowdfunding, we have partnered with Patreon, a site that helps support us as content creators on a monthly basis. By giving, you become a producer with us. As a thank you for your support, we have set up several rewards depending upon how much you'd like to give. From exclusive access to extra content, a first look at our new programs, behind-the-scenes specials, to special one-on-one monthly hangouts with our hosts and experts. We want to thank you in some big ways. So here's how it works. Go to our website at awesomesciencemedia.com and select the special Become a Producer icon at the top. You can watch the introduction video first. Then on the right, you'll see various giving levels and what rewards you'll receive. Pick one and the website will lead you through the sign-up process. Then more than once a month, you'll get email notifications when the rewards are available. You can even give as little as $1 a month. By becoming one of our producers, you'll be able to help us produce even more great programming every month. We'll reach the world with the message of our great Creator. Thank you for your help and support. We look forward to partnering with you.